Hello and welcome to today's podcast. Today I'm talking to Hope of Hope's Closet, and she is sharing with us what Hope's Closet is and how her scoliosis journey has been. Hope's Closet is an online store where you can buy shirts and other garments that go underneath scoliosis braces. And it's pretty cool what they've done with the kind of fabric that they're using, and they're trying to keep costs down and keep these essential items of scoliosis bracing affordable for those who need them. Hope is a great example of someone who has fought the fight with scoliosis, and she was very consistent in bracing and doing her Schroth exercises, and they developed a product that can help others with their scoliosis journey as well. So I was really excited to do this podcast episode with Hope and her mom. This episode would be great for anyone who's braced or parents of teenagers who are braced and they know the discomfort that comes with bracing and the struggle it is to find things that work clothing-wise. So anyone in that category, as well as any providers who are struggling to get their patients to wear the brace, this would be a great episode as well. So I'm grateful that Hope was willing to talk to me on this episode and share her experience and her story of scoliosis. And even if you're not braced, Hope's story is a great one to learn about, and to learn about the ability that we have of being consistent in exercises and bracing, and consistent in those things that help us to get to where we want to be in our scoliosis journey. So without further ado, here's Hope from Hope's Closet. Welcome to today's episode. I'm here with Hope of Hope's Closet, and she is going to share with us her scoliosis experience. And I'm excited to hear what she has to say. Her mom Dahlia is also on this Zoom call, so she might chime in as well. But welcome, Hope, and kind of introduce yourself for those that are listening.
Hi, my name's Hope. I'm a PA student now, but I was diagnosed with scoliosis when I was 11, and I had to wear the Boston brace, like 20 hours a day for about 4 years. And then I also did Schroth physical therapy, and yeah.
And that's you. Okay. So you were braced for 4 years, you said.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a long time. So you said you were how old when you were diagnosed?
I was 11, so actually, I wore the brace at night first, and then my curve progressed, and then I ended up having to wear it during the day too.
Ah, so
Yeah.
11's pretty young for a scoliosis diagnosis. I mean, it happens all the time, but that's on the younger end. So when you were diagnosed, just kind of give us a rundown of how that went. How'd you feel? What did you have any fears? Did you have anything like that came along with that?
Um, so I think the worst part was like when I had to wear the brace during the day, and I was in middle school, and like middle school girls are already very self-conscious, like your body is changing and in
Yeah.
all sorts of weird ways. But yeah, so I was self-conscious about, bumping into people in the hallways and like, oh my, like what if they find out I have it? And it just like made me feel more different than I already felt. I was like in orchestra, so I was nerdy, and I was in all honors classes. So and then I was very nervous about needing the surgery because as I actually just, I mean, I knew this my whole life, but we just went over it in our ortho lecture last week. 40 degrees, they recommend you having surgery, and my lumbar curve was 37. My thoracic was only like 25, I think, but my
Mhm.
lumbar curve was really close to me needing surgery. So I was super nervous, and that was just always in the back of my mind.
So
Yeah.
were you diagnosed with that size of a curve, or that is what it progressed to at the end?
At the beach. So it's hard for me to remember, but at the
Yeah.
beginning it wasn't that big, like I said. I think it was in the both were in the 20s, and then I wore the brace at night. And then it progressed to 37 and 25, and I had to wear the brace during the day. And then after I wore it a couple years and I did Schroth for a couple years, it went back down to like 32, which was awesome, and like 22, I want to say.
That's great. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Who diagnosed you with scoliosis? Was it a pediatrician? Was it uh,
I actually have my mom, I don't remember.
It was at her annual physical.
okay.
They referred us to an orthopedic specialist saying that she probably had scoliosis. So we looked for the best scoliosis orthopedist in the area, and we went to see him. And I think it's important to note the actual years that this happened. It happened in 2011. It started, let me put it this way. It started in 2011, 2012. Hope is 25 now. So back then, nobody had heard of Schroth. That's the first thing I'm going to say. And the second thing I'm going to say is almost all children, regardless of the type of curb they had, whether it was a C or an S, they threw everybody into the Boston brace. And I'm an attorney by profession, and I do a lot of research. And I had a cousin abroad who was a doctor, and he told me about looking into Schroth physical therapy, which at the time was not available near us in the Chicago area. So we went abroad to do it actually intensively, and it helped. By the time we returned to the US, her curves had reduced, and by that time, actually, it became available near us. So Hope continued to do that on a regular basis for a few years. And we did ask, because abroad with her type of curves, I think Hope you had an
I
S.
have an S-shaped curve.
Yeah, and so she should have been, I was told by my cousin, the doctor, that she should have been put into a Rigaud type brace, a three-dimensional type brace, that everybody in Europe and where he's from were put in that type of brace. I came back and I asked the doctor. By then, the doctor said she was almost, in his opinion, done bracing, and it wouldn't be worth changing braces, et cetera, et cetera. And so let's just wait and see. And, the wait and see approach plus Schroth plus wearing her brace diligently, she was compliant with the number of hours. We were, I guess, the lucky ones in that in the end, her curves actually reduced a bit. Schroth helped her with her pain as well. And she's never, touch wood, touch wood, touch wood. I don't want to jinx it, but has never needed surgery. So a lot has changed. I mean, you can speak to that. I know you run a Schroth physical therapy clinic, and I'm telling you, back when I asked the doctor to prescribe her Schroth in 2012, I was given an adamant no, and I just kept pushing and pushing and pushing. Went abroad, did it abroad. She did it abroad, came back, showed the results, insisted the doctor write the script. And I'm so happy we added Schroth to her treatment plan, because I'm not sure that without the Schroth, we would have had as great an outcome.
Well, that's great. I mean, it's the combined approach, rather than just
Yes.
the wait and see approach, it's the combined
Yeah.
Schroth and bracing. Even though it wasn't a Rigo Cheneau brace, it sounds like you had a good result, and you're probably pretty compliant and consistent with your exercises, Hope.
Yes, my mom, not my mom was very adamant about being like compliant with my exercises, but what I would do is like, I don't know if anyone who's listening does Schroth, but I would just play music and do my exercises, so that made them go like a lot fast, like feel a lot faster.
Right? Where did you go abroad to learn that?
Israel.
Oh, really? You went to Israel. Awesome. So you got to go to Israel. You got to learn Schroth. Probably uh, it was a little bit like fire hose, learning Schroth, maybe. I don't know. You're in PA school now, so maybe it's similar.
So I went to Illinois Bone and Joint to do
Mhm.
Schroth. I think I started there.
Okay.
Um, but then we went to Israel.
They didn't have it at Illinois. We asked for it, and he said that there were no clinical studies in the US that showed the proven effectiveness of Schroth. And so there were no Schroth practitioners anywhere near us. That's why my cousin Svika set up an appointment with an orthopedic surgeon in Tel Aviv who was attached to a Schroth clinic, a Schroth practitioner. We went there for 3 weeks and did it intensively every morning.
Yeah.
And then we went to the beach every afternoon to make it
Hey, that sounds fun.
But
more.
when I came back, I did
Yes,
it at IBJI for
yes.
like, 2 times a week for like
Hmm.
6 months, and then I went down to once a week, and then I went down to just doing it at home. So
That's great that they had it because back then, I mean, I wasn't even Schroth certified in 2011 and 2012, and it
yeah,
really was kind of hard to find in the US. Now, not as hard to find, thankfully, but
yeah.
back then it was a challenge. What did you think about the exercises initially, Hope?
I think it helped with my pain a lot. I know, like classically, like scoliosis like doesn't have pain, but I did have some pain.
Yeah.
And so I think what my mom was trying to say earlier, so my doctor, my orthopedic surgeon he was not happy with my Boston brace. Like he was just like every visit he would take a new x-ray and he was just not happy with like it. I think it barely like reduced my curves even while I was wearing it.
He was like, "We want more correction." Like,
Yes, exactly. He was not happy with it. So I'm just like, and that made me feel like I was doing something wrong or something. So having I felt like, I don't know, I could be more in control of like the outcome when I was able to do Schroth. I don't know if that makes sense. And also, yeah, it just helped with my pain and my flexibility, and my like core strength. But and I could see what was really cool about Schroth is I could see the difference. Like looking in a mirror, or like you can just see it when you do certain exercises. So that was cool.
At the end of we were staying with family in Tel Aviv, and at the end of the 3 weeks, my aunt and uncle were just like so ecstatic. They kept screaming, like literally screaming, "Oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, she looks so much straighter. She looks so much." It's exactly what Hope was saying. And, doctors warn us not to use visuals, not to use that kind of, I was told, hold your horses, wait for the next x-ray.
yeah,
And the next x-ray proved that her curves reduced.
right. Hope you said that it made you feel like you could do something about it rather than just having things done to you. And I think that's a big thing with my patients too. It's like they feel empowered that they have some control, even though you may not have complete control over your curve, at least you have some control over what's happening.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it.
Yeah, especially as a teenage girl in junior high, you already feel
Yeah.
a lot of control over some things, and so some control is fantastic. So that's great. That's a great story. So one of the reasons I asked you to do this podcast, well, the main reason I asked you to do this podcast is because you guys have an online store called Hope's Closet, and I wanted to just kind of get that out there, let people know what you guys do. So kind of give us an overview of what Hope's Closet is and who it's for and who you help, stuff like that.
When I was braced, or when everyone gets braced, the orthotist gives you like a undershirt to wear with it to prevent like abrasions and stuff. And I really didn't like the one that they gave me. Like I didn't even take it home. It was just like, not that this matters, but I was like, as a teenage girl, I cared about what I looked like, and it just looked like a hospital towel.
Yeah.
And it felt like a hospital towel. And it was just really thick and like uncomfortable. So then my mom and I like had to go shopping for like undershirts. But as you guys know, like braces go up really high, especially if you have a thoracic curve. And so like we couldn't find any tank tops that went up high enough, like over my brace. And we couldn't really find any like cute, like athletic, like looking, like cute tank tops. They all kind of had that like hospital towel look. So I was like, Mom, like why? Like we spent hours at the mall one day looking for them. We just couldn't find anything. So I was
And
like, Mom,
$100, 100 plus, and over
yeah,
$100.
sure.
We bought, we bought, we bought a lot. We probably bought from all the name brands you could think of, the Target, the Abercrombie, Old Navy. I went to so many different stores looking for something that would work. I know I spent over $100 and nothing worked. She got abrasions where the skin wasn't covered by the tank top. She got heat rashes because the shirts were not breathable, and she had a lot of padding in her brace. And so, where she was sweating under the brace, she had heat rashes. And so then Hope said to me, Mom,
Like why hasn't anyone like come up with like a better like solution for this? And so then we like started Hope's Closet. And my mom measured, like took lots of measurements and figured out the length of a tank top, and that would cover enough like your skin, protect your armpits and protect your skin from abrasions. And actually I think I had bruises too before I like wore the tank tops, like bruises on my hip because it like poked into my hip really bad, and then I didn't get any more bruises. And then oh, they're also dry fit. So it gets really hot because you wear the brace, which is heavy, and then you usually wear like something on top of it because obviously
Mhm.
you don't want people, or when you're in middle school, you don't want people to know you have it.
Yeah.
So yeah, so then it's dry fit, and but I didn't get like any heat rashes like or anything. Even after like wearing my brace all day at school.
Yeah, I think that's a great question, right, Hope? Why hasn't anyone thought of something different or thought of something better than this? Did you ever wonder if those orthotists had ever worn a brace themselves or anything like that?
Oh, yeah. Probably. I think I was kind of sweet, maybe sweeter than back then than I am now, but now I definitely have those sorts of questions.
Right. Well,
Yeah.
and to be honest, I think they really didn't think of that. They
Yeah.
hadn't, maybe they had some feedback from patients like that, but no one had really looked into if there was an answer for that. So that's really cool that you guys were proactive enough to do that rather than just going through it, trying to figure it out and then being done with it. So how long was it before you had something from Hope's Closet that you could use for yourself while you were braced?
It was only a couple months. I
Oh,
was fortunate at the time that one of my closest friends actually had a degree in textiles and design. And when she was looking to do something meaningful with her life as a clothes designer, so this was a project that she just loved. And she found the perfect fabric that, as Hope said, was dry fit. It's pilling resistant. It's what we call lightweight yet durable, meaning it washes extremely well. I actually did a search for my periodically. I'll do a Google search for my company and see what comes up. And there are people selling Hope's Closet brace shirts on Poshmark, which is a designer website, resale website like Louis Vuitton, Armani,
wow.
saying it's like new. So it's still like new after their child wore it under the brace for who knows. Kids
Um,
tend to grow, have a growth spurt every year. So let's say they wore it for a year. The shirts wash really well. Again, they're pilling resistant. They're lightweight but durable under the brace. They do look like new. There are three different designs. One is the cami style, so it looks just like any other cami you would see on the market, but it comes in an option to have a reversible flap. So if somebody has a brace that goes high up into one armpit, they can wear the shirt on the flap on the side that the brace goes very high up into the armpit.
Hmm.
And it's an option. So that cami comes with or without the reversible flap. We have the tank style again with or without the flap. And then we have a cap sleeve, which is very pretty for girls whose brace goes high up under both armpits. And like Hope said, the shirts are longer than average length because typically we see braces that do go down to the hip, like Hope's did. And so the goal was to protect the child's skin everywhere and also have them feel as pretty as they did before they had to wear a brace. We wanted to take the stigma out of it. And one of the things I did early on in my marketing was to get consents from models or customers to wear our shirts and their brace without anything on top. Now, Hope said at her age, and I know at her age, she never would. She was never one of my models. She refused to with her brace. She would model our shirts, but not with her brace on it. But my goal was to remove the stigma back in 2012 of wearing a brace. So I always had models, and all over my website and all over Facebook, my Facebook and Instagram, you'll see girls wearing our shirts and their brace, doing their favorite activities, because I really want to remove the stigma of scoliosis and the brace wearing treatment plan. So I'm happy to report I do see, and I'm sure you see in the scoliosis venues, that there really is hardly a stigma anymore. I see girls all the time wearing their braces with nothing on top of them. So I'm really happy that in 12 years, that stigma seems to have largely dissipated.
Yeah. And I would agree with that. I see more and more that it's recognized, when we talk about bracing with kids, they know someone who's braced and they probably know that they're braced because they can see the brace,
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
which helps with compliance with wearing the brace because it doesn't seem that abnormal if that's the case.
Well, and Hope said, I know in the welcome letter I sent you at the very bottom, one of the things that Hope said, and hopefully she can elaborate on this a little bit, but one of the things she said that her main reason, of course, for the shirt was that so she would feel more comfortable wearing her brace. But what she pointed out in the welcome letter and on the website is that our shirts enable kids, because they are comfortable, because they are functional, because they make them feel better emotionally, physically, etc., while wearing the brace, they're able to be more compliant with their bracing hours, which studies have shown that being brace compliant along with other things like Schroth physical therapy yield the best patient outcomes. So we also had what I would call a medicinal element of making the shirts. It wasn't just to make the girls feel good. It was to help them with their brace compliance.
Yeah, and if we can do both, fantastic, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. So you were able to wear some of the original versions, Hope, of these shirts. Did it help a lot for you to feel more comfortable in the brace?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think, and actually after I was done with my brace, I started just wearing them to work out and stuff because they were like so dry fit, and like they feel really buttery, like almost like the like Lululemon like material. Like they feel like really buttery soft.
Yeah, that's
But
that's quite
yeah.
different than the body sock that a lot of orthotists
Yeah.
put somebody in, right? You're not going to wear
Yeah.
that after you get done bracing, that's for sure.
Yeah.
That's great. Yeah, if it's that comfortable and that good that you wear it even without the brace, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
So anything else about Hope's Closet? I want to give a big plug for you guys because I think it's fantastic what you are doing with Hope's Closet. And anything else
Um,
that you guys have available for patients, people who are braced
no.
or anything like that?
I just run this by myself out of my house. And I've streamlined operations significantly over the years. So we're just selling bestsellers because originally I wanted to make everybody happy, and I had so many different colors and so many different
Right.
cross stitching and this and this and this. And I was, as a business person, I was left with a lot of inventory on my shelves. And, the one thing they say is you don't want to fall in love with your inventory. Well, that happened. And so, in order to stay in business, I have to be very streamlined, and I only carry the two most popular colors, which are white and black, no cross stitching. I have the three styles I mentioned: the cami style with and without the flap, the reversible flap, the tank style with and without the reversible flap, the cap sleeve. I think we're priced very reasonably. Periodically I'll do my research to see what other brace shirts are out there, and they're all way more expensive than my shirt, which was the original non-body sock brace shirt, because
Yeah.
we founded in 2012. We founded Hope's Closet in 2012, so we've been in business 12 years helping girls with brace compliance. And I have tried to keep costs low because honestly, it's a labor of love. I don't do this as a money-making enterprise. The fabric is extremely expensive. Like Hope said, for all I know, it is the same fabric as Lululemon. If anyone knows the prices of Lululemon, you know that it's, their prices are crazy. So brace shirts that are specifically to be worn under scoliosis bracing, I sell for $39 each. If it is the same fabric as Lululemon, well, they're selling a shirt which is not made specifically to be worn under a scoliosis brace for like $60.
Yeah.
So I try to keep it affordable. My goal has always been to help girls with brace compliance and to feel good about themselves during this challenging period, during their lives. Challenging because typically they're diagnosed during adolescence, which is already challenging, and challenging because, well, wearing a brace, it's challenging. The website is hopescloset.com. I do believe our prices are as good as it gets. I mean, I've done my research and we are the original and we are still priced the lowest. And I'm happy to work with any families, which I have in the past. My goal is to help these girls with their brace compliance. I just want to ensure the best patient outcome for these girls. I want them to have a good experience, or I hate to say good experience. I mean, a better experience. Let's put it this way. Before Hope had the Hope's Closet brace shirts to wear, and after, the after was the better experience. And I know she still has some in her closet. She's 25 and I think she still has some. They hold up really well.
That's great. That's a testament to how good they are. And
Mhm.
and the thing that I love that you've said a couple of times is it's not just, even if it was just helping with the comfort and the mental side of it, I think that would be enough. But this also improves the clinical outcomes. And
Mhm.
that's huge. If we can really help with brace compliance, then we see better results. So that's fantastic. So awesome. If anyone is looking for something like this, it looks like you're the original and you are priced well, which doesn't happen a lot in retail. So that's fantastic. Um, so Hope, any other advice that you can give, someone who's newly diagnosed or is looking at bracing or is in bracing, any advice that you'd want to give them?
Ooh, Hope, can I interject? You might not remember this. This I think is really, really important. As a mom, I'm going to say this. And you used to talk to moms all the time who would call me. They don't call as much anymore. They just email. Anyway,
Mhm.
the brace is not supposed to hurt. Let's throw that out there.
That's good advice.
The
Yeah.
brace is not supposed to hurt. I feel guilty to this day, even though it's 12 years later. Both complained to me a couple times that her brace hurt. And somebody told me, and I should not have listened because it was bad advice, misinformed. Oh, that's just her getting used to the brace. No, the brace is not supposed to hurt. I made an appointment with the orthotist. I went back and we got an adjustment. If it hurts, call your orthotist, make an appointment, get an adjustment.
Great
Yeah,
advice. Yeah.
that's good advice. I don't know if I think like having a community, I was like, it's really helpful. Like I was a leader of a support group and it helped like knowing that other people, Curvy Girls is like a support national scoliosis
Mhm.
support group. I think it just helped like knowing other people that had to like wear a brace and stuff. Yeah, one of my good friends actually had to wear her brace, but she wasn't very good about wearing it. So
But it's nice to know someone who kind of understands what you're going through, right?
yeah, it was very yeah.
I mean, the orthotist, the PT, I mean, most of us have never been braced. Most of us don't have scoliosis. And so
Yeah.
it is nice to connect with someone who knows what you're dealing with. So that's great advice. Cool. So you already told us the website, and I'll put that in the description for this podcast so people can access that. And it sounds like you have the most common varieties that people would probably want to purchase. Maybe not all the colors in the world, but that's great, not a problem. Anything else that you'd want to share, either Hope or Dahlia, either way?
I think I would just say there is there are so many resources out there. As Hope mentioned, Curvy Girls is a great resource. They also have a
Yes.
book on their website that was very, very helpful. I believe it is called Straight Talk
Yes.
with the
Mhm.
Curvy Girls. I am not sure what their website is, but it's if someone Googles, I think you have to Google curvygirlscoliosis.org. Otherwise, you don't want to know what comes up.
Right.
Um, so throw in that word scoliosis. There are just so many resources out there. I think there's the National Scoliosis Foundation. Um, People should not be overwhelmed. I shouldn't, as a mom, I shouldn't say that. Let me rephrase. Take a deep breath. Try not to get overwhelmed. There are so many more resources out there now than when Hope was diagnosed. And there's so many Schroth practitioners out there. If you don't like your first doctor, seek a second opinion. If your child tells you that their brace hurts, make an appointment with the orthotist. I guess, be your child's advocate is the best thing that I would say. So, I had to be her advocate to get Schroth. It was back then, it was really hard to get a prescription in the US for Schroth, but in the end we got it. And back then nobody was putting people in the Rigaud Cheneau type braces for S curves, but I was told abroad she should have been. And now that type of brace is available a lot more in a lot of different locations. So I guess if I were to leave the listeners with anything, it's that there are a lot of great resources out there. Take a deep breath, sit down on the computer, start with Curvy Girls website, order their book, and just be your child's advocate.
Great. Fantastic advice.
And
And
order our brace shirts.
and go to Hope's Closet and order some shirts, right? I totally agree. So Hope right now is in PA school, and she asked if I would take her orthopedic exam today, but I won't be able to do that. She wouldn't
That's
want that
okay.
anyway. But do you feel like, well, you better ace the scoliosis parts of your orthopedic exam, that's for sure. But do you feel
Yeah.
like the experience that you had with scoliosis will help you interact with patients better and do better as a PA?
Oh yeah, for sure. And actually I have plantar fasciitis. I have to talk about that. But I think just experiencing like pain, I guess, and having scoliosis, I think it's gonna definitely make me a more like empathetic provider, and it'll help me relate to my patients more, especially if I go into orthopedics. But honestly, people have a lot of like, unfortunately, people come in for back pain like to primary care a lot, to the ER a lot. So wherever I practice, I think I'll be able to be like more empathetic and more just understanding. So
Yeah, you can feel for their pain because you've had back pain, right?
yeah.
So here's a maybe a last couple of questions. Do you still do Schroth exercises?
Not really, but I should. I actually did what did I did just like regular PT for my back a couple years ago because I worked in a nursing home and I was lifting patients all the time and so my
Right.
back pain like kind of flared up. But yeah, not anymore, but occasionally I'll kind of do like a breathing exercise or like the scapular one where you like I don't know if you know what I'm talking
Oh,
about.
yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Well, and that's good. You know the principles of it, not necessarily that you have to do them after you're done growing, but
Yeah.
you know the principles of correction, which is fantastic. So hopefully that carries through and helps with your posture as well. So
Yeah.
that's great. I really like that you had experience. I mean, you were probably one of the first patients to really have a lot of experience with Schroth in your area. So you're kind of a
Yeah.
pioneer that way. That's fantastic.
Yeah. I highly recommend it. So you're doing great work.
Awesome. Thank you. So, well, this has been great. I've learned a lot from this podcast, and thank you for being part of it. Thank you for agreeing to join us on this, and hopefully we can get some traffic to Hope's Closet for you guys and to help out other girls that are dealing with scoliosis and bracing. And not just girls. I mean, is are there I don't
Yeah.
even know if there are things for boys as well.
I think they're like kind of unisex. Like I do know some boys have ordered our tank tops.
Oh,
So
okay.
yeah,
Yeah,
and they're
because
just white and black, so not like pink or purple. Yeah.
they have the same problems with skin irritation and stuff like that. So they would probably be really helpful for that as well. So
Yeah.
cool. Well, thank you for doing the podcast with me and good luck with PA school.
Thank you for having me on and keep up the great work.
Yeah,
Um,
thank you.